1 minute until showtime.
Yay! 96. Gee whiz. We'll try at least for 99. What do you think? One more time? Okay, one more time. 97. That's about as good as we're going to get today. All righty. This weather's got everybody laid back.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, from the world's most famous beach, from where beach racing began, it's the Legends of Racing radio show. Live from racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill in Ponce Inlet, Florida. The Legends of Racing radio show. And your host, Buzz McKim. And co-host, Rich Combs.
We're here with Rich Combs today, and Gary's still in Ohio on vacation. 5-month vacation, that's a pretty good deal.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, good for him. Well, good for us. We got you.
Oh, well, hey, I'm here. I'm just always glad to be here because the weather's so nice. You can see the ocean. You got great people here. These are real fans of racing, and we got a super guest again today. I'm just excited. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, this is going to be a great show. This is a very unusual aspect of the sport that we have not had on before. This is Mr. Wolfgang Käufer right here, everybody. And his story is that he bought a Porsche years ago, and he wanted to learn how to drive it effectively. And he took a driving course, and he was so good they made him an instructor. And he was an instructor for 25 years. That's kind of almost reverse what you'd think, you know,
Yes.
but it worked out very well.
Yep, it did.
Yeah, whereabouts were you with the instructor?
This was mostly in around Ohio, in the Mid-Ohio area. Did mostly in Mid-Ohio and a lot at Nelson Ledges. Nelson Ledges is closer by the lake, and that's close to my home. So I remember I purchased a 944. This was in 1983. As a matter of fact, I had to make an order for the car in 1982 because I had to wait 9 months for that car to be delivered. And when I received the car in spring of '83, somebody from work encouraged me that I should take a driver's school to learn how to drive your car. So 5 years later, I did take a course at Nelson Ledges, and then I liked it so much I did another course and another course and another course. And after almost taking 20 courses, I got a phone call from another friend who said, I need you to instruct. I says, oh no, I never been an instructor and I don't know how to do that. Yes, I do. I'm short and I need you to instruct. And this guy called me from a BMW club. So you can imagine how scared I was that I had to instruct other people what I've been doing for all this time. And I did that for 25 years. I got good at it. So I think I got good at it because I got a lot of compliments from the students that I have taught. I've taught many students over the years, and it's funny. Some people that's all they want to do is do driver schools. It's called actually high performance driver schools, and it is a fun thing to do. And you're really not racing, but you move up in groups. You start off in a one group, which is used to be called maybe the D group, And those are the beginners. And you encourage you to bring your stock car. Don't do any modifications to it. Just learn how to drive. And you do a weekend with that. And usually it's like 3 sessions a day. So you have classroom sessions, and you also have to um, you go on a track and like on a Saturday morning, and they'll teach you everything about the race course. And it seems to be people think it's very intimidating, and actually it's a lot easier than driving on a freeway.
Really?
Yeah, because you're so it's a one-way road, and there's corner workers that watch out for you, and then you have to know where they're at and stuff like that. And as if you like to do that, then normally then you start taking another class, and then sometimes you move up, and you have like 4 different groups, and then the A group, a lot of these people they're very serious about their driving. They got race prepared cars, with track tires, suspension changes. I mean, it looks like a real race car, and so many instructors to bring real race cars. And that's all they want to do is just instruct and drive without the hassle of having to worry about competition.
I'll be darned. How tough is it to unteach these guys some bad habits that they've developed over the years?
Sometimes it's pretty difficult. You have to what they have to understand is you are kind of like in charge. That's the first thing they need to understand. And it's always a positive encouragement. When we instruct, we never say anything bad. Like when we're on the road and he does makes a mistake, and we don't say, "Don't do that again." It's an encouragement of positive things. And there are some people, yes, they do have bad habits, and it sometimes becomes difficult to discipline them. Yeah,
you got to do it with a with a velvet glove, more or less, right?
well, I've told them if they did that again, I'm going to tie a piece of board underneath their gas pedal, or I have had one student. I told him if you do that again, I'll kick you out.
Oh, no, really? Oh my!
Yeah, they do some stupid stuff that I told them they're not supposed to do, and what happens? The next day or that evening, they were bragging about it at a party.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So that happens. But most of the time, we have very good students, and you get a variety of different people, which is kind of like you have to read the people first. For example, sometimes you get I had a professor from a university who thinks different, and then I had a director of a museum, and I also had a interesting person who was an airline pilot. So you have all people that think different, and if you have like an airline pilot, he thinks more of in a mechanical way. So it's easy to teach him the physics of what a car will do. Whereas somebody like a professor from a university or somebody college or the guy from the museum, he thinks in art form. So he thinks completely different. But here's one thing I was on all of my students, I asked them, did you ever play a musical instrument? And well, here's one thing. Sometimes these students, they think they want to be racers that weekend. So I says, no, you're not going to be a racer this weekend. So I asked him, did you ever play a musical instrument? And he says, yeah. So did you know that music piece by heart as the first time, and could you play it even faster than you were supposed to? And he said, no, I couldn't. Well, that's the same thing with the racetrack. You have to learn to play the notes, play the song, and you learn the racetrack that way. And speed comes by itself. Once you know the piece well, once you know the track well, then automatically speed comes by itself. And then they wonder, wow, I can drive this car faster. And that's usually how it works.
I'll be darned.
Well, when you took your first course,
Yes.
you had to sign up. What did you expect going in, and what did you come out with? Did you want to be a race driver, or do you just want to drive your car better, or?
My first class was just that I was encouraged to take the class so I could figure out how to drive my car on a track. And they told me, it says you have to buy a helmet and show up at 7 o'clock, pay my dues, pay my fine entry fee, and fill out all kinds of paperwork and stuff like that. And then at 7 o'clock, you show up at the racetrack. And I didn't know what to expect. I was totally intimidated to be on the track. And the instructor I had, which was very interesting because I think it rained a little bit that morning. And the instructor that I was assigned to, he went out on the track on his instructor session and he crashed.
Oh.
So all the other students are looking at me, yeah, I see you're going to have some hot shot instructor today. And he crashed. So, well, that didn't help, but I was encouraged by it was fun to do it, to run the track, and I wanted to do it again, and the rest is history. I kept doing it many times a year. Sometimes, we did. I worked for the BMW club and the Porsche club, and then sometimes we had as many as at least 10 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that takes quite a bit of time when you're up north in Ohio. So yeah, sometimes, and then when you're instructing, sometimes you got your helmet on all day long, and that kind of gets painful too. But
So you get guys that do nothing but, they'll spend their career just going to driving schools and never actually participate in an actual race. Is that right?
That's right. Most of these people, everybody has a job. This is a volunteer job. Nobody gets paid for this.
Right.
And we have some of my friends and some of the people that I noticed, they have their whole calendar filled. They just go from mid-Ohio to Michigan, and then they go to Watkins Glen, and then they go someplace else. And their car's already race prepared, and they instruct, or if they don't instruct, then they're driving in one of the upper classes. And that's all they want to do is go fast.
Hey, I understand that. You understand it.
Yeah.
Now, when you were instructing, what was your favorite exercise? When you put people out on the course and you were teaching them, what did you like the best in teaching?
Well, what I mostly did, because sometimes you have radio communication between you and the student. And sometimes the communication I found with talking to a student is sometimes too slow. Because by the time he makes a mistake where he needs directions, you tell him to do it, and by the time he processes it in his head, it's too late. So what I did, I always informed the students that I'm using hands on the dash of what I like them to do, you know.
Yeah.
So I give them directions on the dash of where point them to this way, I point them that way, or I want them to go faster, I want them to slow down. That worked very well. And usually I found out that some of the lines that I like to drive on the track, that everybody liked. Because there's two different lines when you're driving on a track. There's a driving line, and this is usually what's taught all the time, is to drive around the track the smoothest way. You go at the outside, you hit the apex late, and you go on the outside again. So that works really well, but then sometimes you want to drive the racing line. So if somebody in students, as they progress up, we can teach them the racing line. Well, the racing line is a little bit different at the end at every straight line. Because if you drive the driving line, a competition will take you away. I mean, if you have to make a right turn, I want to be on the left side, be outside, and then take the apex. Well, in the competition line, the guy would be on my right, and he'll take my spot away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we sometimes, depending how good the students are, we do then teach the racing line. For example, at Mid-Ohio, at the end of the straight, you make a 90-degree right. and then it's uphill. And while on top of the hill, the road turns 190 degrees left and goes down the hill. And then at the bottom of the hill, it goes 90 degrees and makes on a right turn. So the driving line is to take the conservative side to go up the hill, more towards the right side, and then crest that hill in a straight way to get across. So that is the conservative way and the smoothest way and the safest way to get around the track. But for the racing line, if you get good, we try to take that hill tight. The car will lift a little bit and starts drifting, and then you'll straighten it out, and then you get to the bottom of the hill and you hit the brakes. The car lifts in the back and it rotates a little bit, smash the brake gas again. So it's a more radical driving. And you don't want to teach students to take the corner so tight so the car lifts off and, to rotate and stuff like that.
All right. Now, do you actually work with the students' own cars, or are there cars that are supplied to you?
No, everybody has to bring their own car. And most people, they bring either their Porsches or BMWs, and we have a lot of Corvettes. Sometimes, I think you remember, some people bring Cobras or Alfa Romeos.
Wow.
Any kind of a car that they want to learn to drive fast. I don't think you want to bring your front-wheel drive SUV, but yeah.
Let me tell you a funny story about lines, and we're talking the same thing. The first school I ever took, I took at Road Atlanta, and the instructor was a former IMSA champion. And so I took the course, got to know him pretty well. And I'm asking him, and this is at the time when NASCAR is starting to get into road courses. And I said to him, and a lot of NASCAR guys were at Road Atlanta doing the courses, and they were teaching racing. And I said, well, who was famous and who's the fastest guy you've had? And he said, it was Dale Earnhardt.
Huh.
I'm thinking, holy crap, Dale Earnhardt. And I said, well, how did he do? He says, well, Dale was he didn't really want to do road courses. He said, we got out and they rode in the same car together. And he said, we ran about 3 laps, and I told Dale, you've got to follow the line. You've got to do what I'm telling you. And he says, he really wasn't paying attention. He says he wasn't doing that good. I got out of the car so he could drive the car by himself. Within 3 laps, he was not running the line that was set up, and he was faster.
Oh, my gosh.
And he could see things that other people couldn't see. So following the line, you're right.
That's amazing.
There's many lines for different people.
Yep.
And Dale Earnhardt's different.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Wolfgang and Company.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. At Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees, it's all about making you happy. Beach Boys Embroidery can customize your athletic golf apparel, caps, hats, badges, buttons, magnets, backpacks, bags, totes, clocks, watches, and of course, T-shirts. Sure, they're at 2033 South Ridgewood Avenue in South Daytona, and they're waiting for you to call now. 386-255-5880. Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees. Let Aloha Marine get you on the water with huge discounts on great brands like Bayliner, Carolina Skiff, Hurricane, Key West, and Regal. Pay as little as $169 a month with 10% down and approved credit. Don't wait. Get to Aloha Marine, 1700 North Nova Road, Holly Hill, Monday through Saturday. 47 years and always better than boat show prices. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. We do appreciate that. This segment's being brought to you locally by Staples on International Speedway Boulevard, going out there toward the interstate. And it's a wonderful place, great people, and they will do anything for you, for your office, and faxing and shredding and, you name it. You go in there with a problem, and they'll be able to fix you up. And also, if you want to go to YouTube, you can go to the Legends of Racing radio show YouTube page and watch us live. And if you would care to watch us an hour later, we'll be posting it on Facebook. So you can go back home if you're real quick after the show and go take a look at what you just saw, right? So have you ever been scared? Has any of these guys ever scared you?
Yes. Yes. I had this guy had a race prepared 944, and he brought his son, who just turned 21, to the school to drive his car to learn the track. This was a 944 turbo. And he didn't know how to drive, this kid, so I had a very, very hard time with him. And I gave him 2 gears to use only. So I talked to him through every turn. Every turn I talked to him through. And he was able to follow my instructions, but he was kind of radical. I was afraid that he was going to mess up sometime, and he did. So I told him, I says, okay, I'm going to be quiet right now. Just keep doing what I just been telling you. Stay on the line. And what he did when he got over, which is we call Madness, this is at Mid-Ohio, at the end of the street, you make that right turn, and he got on top of the hill at Madness, which makes a real sharp turn and goes back downhill. But he stepped on the gas and he kicked in the turbo.
Oh, boy.
Yes. I think we did about several loops going around in circles. I was backwards, and I saw the corner worker holding up a yellow flag, and then I rotated again, and I saw him holding up a red flag. So, yeah, we bounced off one side and ricocheted across the track to the other side. And all I said is to him is, "Are you okay?" I did not discipline anything because he did a stupid mistake, and I said, "Okay, let's bring the car back into the pit area." And I told him what he did wrong. He admitted he did that wrong, and so yeah, those are some of the scary moments. Is when you teach somebody what to do, what not to do it, and then they think they know it, and they can just do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So,
was the car tore up very bad?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that's good.
It wasn't. There was another incident. I remember the same spot. This guy comes always drifting, lifts up the car, and the car starts drifting. And then I was told that he was a good driver, so I didn't say anything. And he corrected it. And then a few times around, same thing again. The car got light and got too sideways, and he couldn't correct it. Well, again, we went around in circles, and we both hit the wall. And it wasn't not a real wall. I think it was like a fence that they have out there. And yeah, he destroyed the car.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was in tears.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
I'll bet. The first time you got in a car at the driving school, did you know right immediately that this is what you were set out to do?
Not really. No.
Took a little while for it to.
Took a little while because actually before I started doing the driver's school, back in the 60s, I did some drag racing.
Oh, really?
So that was my thing. We had a local drag strip, Thompson Drag Raceway, and I bought a Chevelle had it all built up, 327, 4-speed, and all that stuff. And I used to drag race, Corvettes out there. So that was relatively simple.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought it was.
Sure.
And then it occurred to me when I had that Porsche, it says you got to learn how to drive on a road course. So it was a completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you ever teach on a skid pad?
No, I never did teach on a skid pad, but I was instructing autocross several times,
Yeah.
and but not on the skid pad. No.
When I was a instructor, I used to. My favorite thing is the skid pad. Put the student in the car on the skid pad and turn them loose, with the intent. A skid pad can be wet or it can be dry, and what you do is you have a circle and you drive the circle, and you drive it as hard as you can. Well, if you do that, sooner or later your back end's going to wipe out on you, and you spin around. As soon as you spin around, you go back the other way. And 5 minutes of doing this, and you're a tired puppy. But what it teaches is when your car is going to break away. And if you're listening to racing on TV and you hear the guys talking about knowing where your limits are and where your tires are going to lose traction and how you're going, well, it's very hard to do that without messing up a lot of cars. That's what you were telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And so you put them on a skid pad and say, go to it. Most people don't like it at first, then they begin to love it. I love it. If it was a skid pad out front, I'd be out there flying around it, whipping around, because it tells you how far you can go, and that's a good training tool.
I've done that on a rainy day on a parking lot.
Yeah, there you go.
I had I remember it was a '69 Corvette, and I think I had a passenger with me, and it was a big open parking lot. It was raining really hard. Well, I turned the wheel really hard, stepped on the gas, and floored it, and the car was just flying around. I think it was just going around and around and around and around. And then after I stopped, I was dizzy.
Yep, that's what it does. Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's the same thing with rain days. I'm sure you still taught your course during rain days.
Oh yes, when it rains, we go out.
Yep.
Yes.
And I did a course one time under Gene Felton.
Oh boy.
And it was bad weather the whole week, and I was a fast guy in the rain. Track, it was misting rain. The track was wet. I think we had maybe 7 or 8 students, and I was the fastest guy there.
Yeah.
We came back a day when it was nice and warm. I was the slowest guy. Don't tell me what the difference was. I don't know. But maybe the rain intimidated somebody else and didn't intimidate me, and I was just a slow racer. But anyway.
Well, I like driving in the rain, but I don't want to make sure I don't bend up my car. But I had an old Mercedes, and my buddy gave me track tires for it, and I put racing brakes on it. It was an old 190E. And I took that car at Nelson Ledges and at Mid-Ohio, and that car, I didn't care if I was going to lose it. I drove it like I don't care to lose it. And I tried very hard at Mid-Ohio one time to lose that car, and I couldn't because it had ABS brakes, and it stopped. I couldn't. I wanted to hit the brakes real hard. ABS kicked on. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So
That's now you instructed at Nelson Ledges.
Yes.
How big a speedway is that? How big a road course is that?
that is exactly 2 miles.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually known as the fastest track in the country.
Really?
It's relatively flat, and I don't know why, but it is the fastest track because you don't have any elevation changes to worry about and stuff like that. So yeah, it is. It's pretty quick.
In Ohio?
Yes, it's in Ohio. It's up by it's between Cleveland and Youngstown.
Okay.
And Nelson Ledges for many years had bad pavement. They never really took care of the track that well, but somebody purchased the track a few years ago, and it's totally repaved. And it's a pleasure to drive right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear much of that track anymore. I know they used to have a 24-hour race there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I remember I had a friend took me. My car I had a flat tire. I took my 911 out there, and I had a flat tire, so I couldn't go on track anymore. So my friend, he had a 911, I think it was a 911 GT3, I think it was, or something like that, a real potent car. So the guy that owned the track, his name was McGill, and McGill didn't do a very good job of paving the apexes. He put it like a parking lot. He put it up high.
Oh, jeez.
I know, and a lot of people have lost it because you get to the side, the car lifts, and you're on. So we were racing around in his. This is already a Sunday afternoon. Most people have gone home already. So we were racing around in his GT3 around the track, and he's flying at the end of the straight, and he's getting close to that apex. And I told him, I says, you know, McGill made that mistake paving the apex. You know, you want to be careful. So the next time around, come to the same spot. What he did, he went so far to the right that I was actually in the mid-air where his side was on
Holy
the pavement.
cow. Jeez.
The apex was underneath us.
Is that right?
So he was trying to make a point.
Yeah, I think so.
So he broke real hard, made that turn to the left, and he said, not bad for stock brakes, stock tires, right?
Oh, hey, we're going to be right back with Wolfgang. Thank you, folks.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Racing's original North Turn is our broadcast headquarters. If you're looking for a good drink, great entertainment, and the best in food, they're right on the beach at Racing's original North Turn. Come on down to dinner tonight. Here are a couple of testimonials. These are actual testimonials from people who have enjoyed the North Turn. Been there many times, always great food and drinks, great location on the beach. And another, what a great experience. It's my new favorite restaurant in the Daytona Beach area, Racing's Original North Turn on South Atlantic Avenue. That's A1A and Ponce Inlet, about 3.2 miles south of the Dunlawton Bridge and A1A intersection. It's Racing's Original North Turn, a restaurant, museum, bar, gift shop, live music. That's Racing's North Turn. Racing's Original North Turn has been voted by you Best Beach Bar Top 10 year after year after year. We're back from where it all began. Racing's Original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host Buzz McKim and co-host Rich Combs.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. We're halfway home, and it's almost Tony time. But first, we have this here locally. This segment's being sponsored by Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, voted one of the top 5 markets in the country by USA Weekend. Visit our Shop Now network and our Shop Now at Daytona Flea and Farmers Market Facebook page for the latest in vendor tours. And it is now officially Tony time. We missed you there, bud.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Wolfgang, I'm curious what kind of a challenge it is with the newer performance cars that have so much adjustability from inside the car.
Good question.
Driving modes, drift,
Well,
shocks, suspension. How do you instruct somebody that can monkey with their car that much?
well, as you know, in the old days, we drove the car. We had no ABS brakes, no traction control, no stability control, no paddle shifting. We had to do heel toe, you brake, and then you also drift the car, or in some turns you on the gas and you're on the brake at the same time. This is called squatting. All these things that we were teaching in the old days, you can't do anymore today. The cars today became, I think in those old days we had cars maybe from 150 to most were in the mid 200 horsepower. Maybe some had already close to 400 horsepower. But today's cars are so perfect, they drive you. They have stability control, all this stuff. ABS, traction control, and we had some students that brought one of these fancy brand new Porsches with all the gizmos on it and all the controls. And they were doing a fantastic job even as a beginner on the track. Wherever they put the car, we can tell, we can show them the line, but whatever they put the car was correcting them.
Wow.
If they made a mistake in a turn, the car would correct them. And they were so happy that they had so much fun, but we always had to remind them, the car is driving you. You're not driving the car.
Yeah.
And they says, yeah, but I'm having a good time. And the other problem is that sometimes we would like to show these people how to do it without all these options on it. And some of these options you cannot turn off on a car anymore. And then the other thing is there's a liability issue today because these cars are meant with all these safety features that if we tell them to turn these things off and don't use them, then it becomes a liability issue for instructors. So it's very difficult today. And I don't instruct today anymore. It's not fun anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. You've retired.
I retired. I gave it up when the cars became too fast, too powerful.
Yep.
And the cars were driving them.
Yeah. That's a good way to get hurt, too, I guess, isn't it?
Well, it's not really, because if the car is driving you, the car is taking care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You have a more chance of getting hurt if you had to do everything manually.
I see.
So, but the fun factor is not there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
There's less work involved. Today, a student can learn to drive the track and be a good driver much faster than the old days.
Mm-hmm.
But then some of the students, it took them 2 days to teach them how to drive the track, and at the end of 2 days, they still couldn't do it. And we had some students, they pick it up so fast, they were like candidates to be race car drivers.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's the ability of what they knew how to do. So, yeah, we sometimes could sign them off early. And then on a Sunday, we tell them, don't do any practicing with different things. Just do what we taught you and drive around the track on your own.
Yep.
And, yeah.
You know, the European Union is getting a lot of feedback right now, and you're probably following this. They're saying to the automotive manufacturers in Europe, we don't want all of these preset things it'll do on its own. And they don't like the screens. They're saying we want to go back to buttons, things as simple as old-time heating and air conditioning control. You know, you have a slide, you slide it over, you have a button, you turn it, it's there. And what's happening now is, you know, all this on a screen, and they're saying you're taking too much time looking at that screen. And there's a big push in Europe to get the automotive manufacturers to go back to cars that don't do all of the things that are automatically done. And I think what they do is they find, you know, there's nothing more pleasurable than driving a car. That's why people like 4-speeds. Why in the world do we ever want to have a 4-speed car that we got to push in a clutch and change the gears? I've got a new Ford truck. It's got a 10-speed automatic. Unbelievable.
Oh, boy.
It's as smooth as it can possibly be. The gears and the revs are lined up perfectly. But people enjoy shifting that gear, running it over the RPM, running it under, double clutch, and they're trying all of this stuff. So driving is still a part of life, and that's what you're talking about. Let's have some fun driving.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I still have my 3 old cars. It's in my collection. It's an old 83 944, and I have a 1982 911, and I purchased that car track prepared with cage in it and all kinds of modifications to it, and I enjoy driving that. And I also use a BMW, the all stick shift BMW M3 that I have, and they're all a pleasure to drive. And like you said, I have to turn the dials to turn on the heat, and I have to press the buttons, and I have no screens and no ABS, no stability control. Yeah, it's just a pleasure to drive today.
Well, you're apologizing for a 944 and an M3. You want to back that up and say, I've got these and I can drive the hell out of them?
Yes, I
That's
do.
what
yes.
you're, that's what you
it is.
got.
That's
You
why
got
I am.
it,
I am
yeah.
doing it.
That's,
Yeah.
Speaking of Porsche, Buzz, you remember we had the guy on from Germany that was here going up to Jacksonville.
That's right.
And he was dealing with the 917 Porsche
Yep.
that Steve McQueen drove.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys were here for that or not. That car went for bid, $30 million, and they turned it down.
Oh, my gosh.
That car's back in Jacksonville.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And it's on display, and for $16.95, you get the tour of the museum.
That's a heck of a deal.
That's better than $30 million, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I would say so. Hey, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Bill Cushion.
Yeah. He was with.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hops Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the third weekend of every month. See all we have to offer at DaytonaFleaMarket.com or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
Oh, thank you, everybody. We do appreciate that. And this segment's being brought to locally by the Homewood Suites by Hilton over on Bill France Boulevard. Right there where every room is a suite. They have a complimentary breakfast bar, which is fantastic, and also a happy hour. And they're good people. And I think that you would be well advised to send some of your friends over there if they come into town looking for a place to stay. And with a heavy heart, we say hello to Bill Cushion for the last time for this year. He's going back to the great North Country. What do you want to do that for, Bill?
It snowed last night. My wife told me, and I was dying to walk in it, you know.
Not.
As long as, well, as Rich was telling you, his experience with my racing school was I got in a modified at Riverside Park. The first thing the guy did is flipped up the mirror and told me to worry about what was in front of me and not what was behind me. And the last his instructions was, don't wreck my car. And then a while later, I got into a flathead Ford that you'd be interested in. And after 2 laps, I came in and I told the guy that owned it, boy, this thing doesn't want to turn. His instruction was you're not going fast enough. So that was my only experience with driving school. But the question I have for you, you know, I'm a Ford guy, and I see that Chevy out front. I should have brought my Ford. But, you know, Ferrari versus Ford. Can you talk a little bit about Fords and GTs and Roush Fords and all that? Where do they rank up there with Porsches and Lotuses and, you know, the whole 9 yards of foreign cars?
Well, as far as I can tell you is that the Ferraris or all of the fancy cars, they're fancy, but Porsche is always building a car on the consumer side more, where Ferrari is building more cars for the race. So I have a friend that works for up north for it's a dealership, and all they do is sell exotic cars. And he says if you want a car that doesn't give you a problem, stay with a Porsche.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to comment on that comparison between the Ferrari versus Ford. I know that was, I think it was Carroll Shelby that put that car together, I believe. And I know it's a fantastic car, and I would like to have that car, of course. But would I take that car over a Porsche? I'm not sure. I probably would. It has a better reputation. It's, you know,
Right, and they're not cheap anyway. I have a Ford dealer up north. He got one back in, what was it, '06? And then he managed to get a second one, and then he bought a couple of them on eBay for like $150,000, and his father about went nuts over it. And then, you know, now they're $1 million cars. So
aren't they made in Africa? Isn't there an aftermarket manufacturer that builds replicas identical to that car in
Yes,
Africa?
Performance. It's a very nice car. What they're building in South Africa is a rolling chassis, meaning they build a complete car, painted interior, everything's ready to go, arrives in the U.S., and you can put in, they build a series of cars, you can put in any drivetrain you want, but you would be foolish not to put in one of the later and those are great cars, and those are being raced now handedly in vintage racing. They're allowing them to do that because there's so much like the older cars. It's a big deal, and Super Performance has a operation down in Jupiter, Florida now. If anybody's interested in forking up a couple $300,000 and getting one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to check with my wife to see what our bank account looks like.
Yeah.
Might be a little short this week. Yeah.
Well, save up your money. Get the cookie jar out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. What's your favorite track there, Wolfgang?
That's a good question. My favorite track is between Watkins Glen and Mid-Ohio.
Really?
But,
So many people that are on this show say Watkins Glen is among their favorite tracks.
It is. It is. But I have spent more time at Mid-Ohio, so that became like my favorite track.
Really?
But I do like Watkins Glen's. Watkins Glen's is a little bit bigger, and also it's a lot of fun to drive. I remember there was Joan Barbosa, I think. He was racing
Oh,
for
sure. Yeah.
Chip, what's his name?
Ganassi?
Chip Ganassi, yeah. And he was invited over to the Motor Racing Heritage Association meeting one time.
Okay.
And that was right after he had this really big crash at the Rolex 24-hour race. He ran into somebody, and right after, I think might have been a month or sometime after that, he came to the meeting. And he stood up and he explained how complicated it is to drive Daytona, and you know, the lines and stuff like that. And I raised my hand and I told him, I think Daytona is a very boring track. My favorite track is Mid-Ohio. So he kind of like, yeah, that's okay, but then he explained how temperature changes on Daytona track, and he tried to defend the track a little bit more.
Right.
And then before he sat down, he pointed at me and says, yes, my favorite track is also Mid-Ohio.
Really? I'll be darned. That's pretty good.
It's more challenging. I've been on the Daytona track at the Rolex Circus many times, and yes, you do go fast, but you can, your mind can wander if you want, you know.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, how about Sebring? Now, that looks like it'd be a lot of fun, huh?
Sebring, yes, Sebring, the only thing I don't like about Sebring, it's rough.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people complain about Sebring. And at some places, when I'm out there at Sebring, I have to figure out where is the racetrack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because sometimes you lose direction a little bit, and I'm looking for a little spot on the track, and says, okay, that's where I want to be, and because and I'm looking ahead, in the back someplace I see this. I think it's a water tower or something. So I'm aiming for a water tower because that's where I want to be at the track. Because yeah, it's a little bit rough, but it's a nice track to run. Yes.
You can get going pretty quick there, huh?
Yes, you can. You can go pretty quick. Yes, it's okay. If I had a choice between Daytona and Sebring, we would pick Daytona.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Wolfgang, everybody.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Welcome to Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. You're right in the middle of all the action. Daytona International Speedway, the airport, One Daytona, Florida's newest entertainment and retail destination, and of course, the world's most famous beach. You'll love our newly remodeled 1 and 2 bedroom suites, along with our popular King Studios. You won't need your full kitchen, as Homewood Suites Daytona serves up complimentary breakfast and evening social. It's like home away from home. Go to HomewoodDaytona.com for Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Rich Combs.
Oh, thank you, everyone. We do appreciate that. Coming down the old home stretch here, and we're here with Wolfgang Käufer. And what a fascinating story. And this is really kind of an interesting departure from what we're used to, huh, Rich?
Oh, it is. It's every racer goes through it. Everyone's a fan, sees it happening, but no one's telling you about it, and he's bringing that to life of what you see.
Yep.
And there is the high-performance school of driving. There's the racing school. You can do dirt track. You can do short track. You can do long track. So, you know, the whole thing is learning what you want to do.
Right.
And it looks like you've got a good experience in all of those things.
Yes, I do.
You know, yesterday morning we have a breakfast group, and one of the things I was talking about was a thing they call trail breaking. Do you remember when they were teaching trail breaking?
Yeah.
Mario had a video out, a tape, that showed you how to do trail breaking, and basically you were mentioning it a minute ago, but you weren't calling it that. And that's when you come into a turn. As you're into the turn, of course, you're scrubbing speed off, but if you tap your brakes, your back end lifts up, and you're in a turn, your car rotates. As soon as you rotate where you're straight again, you're up back on the gas. Well, what happens is you might pick up an extra 100 or maybe 150 feet of straightaway, rather than being in the turn. And when you're dealing in tenths of a second, that means a lot in a car. So, you know, you're talking about the same thing that Mario Andretti was talking about, and you're giving it to him for free.
Yeah.
That's like when I purchased my 911, that car was race prepared by Eric Steinell in Twinsburg, and it has 80% lock differential on that 911. So exactly that car works exactly like what you want to do. Is you get the back end, you brake hard, the back end rotates, go into a lower gear, and both tires will grab. So that's what you want.
Yeah, that's the kind of interesting thing there. Talking about, do they still race at Nelson Legends?
I don't know. I know they're busy. They're having schools there all the time.
Okay.
And some of the, I just got an email not too long ago that some of our friends, a group, I live down here now. I'm not there anymore. But they get together once a month, and they rent the track once a month, and you can just drive all day long.
Boy.
And that's for all the seniors that are not running on the tracks anymore. So they get a day to play. So once a month, during the month. It's one day a month. It's on a Wednesday. You can go out there and play. And if I time it right, I might take my helmet with me.
All right.
And show up and ask them, hey, can I take a few laps? And they always say, go ahead.
It keeps you young.
Yes.
Yep. You know, when they were broadcasting the race from Coda a few months ago, I guess, the NASCAR race, they had a camera on Shane Van Gisbergen's feet, and he does the heel and toe, and they talked about how it's very, very unusual nowadays among the NASCAR guys to do heel and toe. And I don't know if they don't know how to do it or they don't think it's worth it or what the deal is, but that seems to be the hot tip.
They don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I think they're right. Grassroots Motorsports over in Holly Hill,
right?
Big group of people, and they're racing all the time and teaching driving. One of their big deals is no longer any more heel and toe, 2 feet, as if you're driving without a clutch at all.
Really?
And balancing the car, and they're sold on it. I learned the other way. So I'm going to have to go back and figure this one out.
Well, you're talking about driving with 2 feet. I was doing autocrossing like that. I was teaching autocrossing, and that's how we do autocrossing. We get up and first go into second gear, and then we use the left foot brake and the right foot gas. So
Okay.
that's how we dance through the whole course.
Right.
With braking like that.
I'll be darned. Yeah. So there's always something new coming along, I guess.
As technology is concerned?
Yeah.
I suppose. I don't know how far you can go. Today, the cars are driving you. So I don't know how much fun is that. Like you mentioned, Germany wants to get, the European want to get back to real driving. I don't know if you know, but most cars in Europe are all stick shift.
Are they really?
And you can it's very often that you can see a full-size BMW 7 Series with a 6-speed in it. Big Mercedes S-Class with a stick shift in it.
I'll be darned.
Everyone likes to drive stick shift. And I noticed that on the Autobahns over there, which is a turnpike, they have signs that, they encourage you, don't eat, don't drink while you drive it. It's like they don't like cup holders in cars. I don't know if you ever noticed.
That's
the early
what I've
days,
been
you couldn't
told.
get cup holders in cars.
Right.
They do not want you to be, drinking your coffee and driving and stuff like that. They encouraged that all this. They had signs all over the freeways.
Jeez. Well, this has been a joy, and we thank you so much for being here today, Wolfgang. You've given us another aspect to the world of auto racing, and it's just something so unusual. We just really appreciate you being here.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah, a couple of folks we got to say thank you to. We got Danny over here on the board, working the board. She's doing a real good job.
Danny.
We got Mike with the applause sign. He's doing real good with the applause sign. And goodbye, Bill. We'll see you maybe next spring sometime. And anybody see that beautiful coral and charcoal 55 Chevy out there? We got Rich Hardy. Rick Hardy. He's the father of the proud papa of that machine right there. And, of course, we got our old legend Owen Hopes over there. Yeah, there you go. And Pat's here from Daytona Beach Street Rods. And we just thank everybody for being here. And we had a great time last Saturday at the Almapalooza. So many of you that are here today were there, and we appreciate you coming. And I think she would have been very proud of the way everything worked out. She was quite a gal, and we gave her a great send-off. And we couldn't have done it without y'all. So is there anything you want to close with?
No, I think I was kind of shaky about doing this, so I don't know, did I survive?
Oh, I think you did great. What do you think, Brian?
All right.
Everybody like that?
Yeah.
Worked out great. Worked out great.
I think it was just beautiful the way you're departing knowledge to folks who don't see this on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And you're the regular guy. Here's how we do it. That's what we're doing. That's beautiful. I mean, it's good knowledge.
Yeah.
Somebody's back there shaking their hand. I can see that now. Yeah.
Makes you want to go out and sign up for a driving school, doesn't it?
I want to go out and try this 944 out.
Oh, boy, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's like some little car,
Yeah.
And there's never been an M3 that wasn't a good car.
No, it wasn't. I have a good time with it. I took that M3 many times to the track.
Yeah,
And,
we saw him going down the road with it the other day.
Yeah.
You're cruising right on down the road with the M3. That was great.
That's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we do thank you all for being here today, and I hope you'll come back next week. We'll have somebody new and exciting. Maybe not as exciting as this guy, because this has been terrific.
Oh.
And we just really appreciate you being here. How about another big round of applause for Wolfgang Käufer, everybody?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
The Legends of Racing radio show originates live from the very spot where beach racing began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. Join us next time for the Legends of Racing radio show with host Buzz McKim and co